That long chat with your fire pit fellow.
If you have to pause, stop. So, we're good to go.
Yeah,
I kept kind of
I think
guiding
it's
him.
something worth looking at. I've taken a work before.
After I did get some more information, yeah, I don't mind.
Hey,
How we doing?
well, I went to the eye doctor,
There's
so.
your tie line.
Yeah, I
Yes, okay, we'll come to order. We're being taped here. I just want, first of all, to introduce our new legal eagle, Kristen Bonnert. She'll be advising us at the committee, so.
Hello, everybody.
Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Wild bunch here.
Have any questions?
Take it easy on my first time.
We'll note that all members are present, and I have an approval of the agenda.
Motion to approve the agenda.
Motion by Alderman Scannell, second by Alderman Dwayne. Changes, those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Number 3 is approval of the minutes,
Motion
August
to
10th.
approve the minutes?
Second by Alderman Scannell, second by Alderman Stoyer. Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Number 4, application for one of 10 available Class B combination licenses by WNC of Green Bay, 2350 East Mason. Here, I usually like to go to you first, and then
Yep.
then our police.
The city attorney's office has no objection.
All right,
Police department has no objection.
fair enough. Anyone here for this item? Any questions on the
Let's
applicant?
see. Yeah, I'd like to make a motion to open the
All
floor.
right, motion by Alderman Stoyer, second by Alderman Dwayne. Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Could you stop?
Do you mind just stepping up and giving us your name and address?
Scott Daly, D-A-I-L-Y, just like the Daily newspaper.
Oh, there you go.
Thanks, Scott.
I work
Connect.
next door, and I work next door to the Green Bay Press Gazette. 3566 Spyglass Hill,
Okay.
Green Bay, Wisconsin, 54311.
Thanks. Alderman Stoyer, any questions?
Yeah, I was wondering, have you applied for a license before?
No, I have not.
This is your first time? Okay. And can you just briefly describe what you're planning on getting involved in?
This is my wife's business. I happen to be the president of the company, but it's an art studio where she comes and brings in ladies, and they teach them how to paint, and they drink wine at the same time. So it's
Okay.
it's a few nights a week. We're going to East Town Mall because we live on the east side. We're going to try and see if we can bring some traffic into that mall.
Okay. I was wondering where, okay,
Yeah.
that's East Town. All right.
And your wives have probably seen it or done it or heard of it. So
I've heard of those things. It seems to turn out pretty well.
Yeah.
All right, I'm good with that. That's all I needed. Thank
I'd be
you.
interested if you had paint by number.
no, you don't need that. They're good.
Thank you. Any other questions?
No.
Without objection, we'll return up here. And motion
Second?
Motion by Alderman Dwayne, second by Alderman Scannell to approve. Discussion.
It's the best way to paint, with wine.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. This will go to council in 2 weeks. 2 weeks from today, actually. So that'll be the final approval. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I don't imagine you have any issue there, but you can come if you like.
Okay.
Number 5, application for a Class B combination license by Scoreboard Grill, 2511 West Mason. Currently Fuzzies, 63. Attorney?
City attorney's office has no objection.
Police department has no.
And the applicants are here. Any questions for the applicants, or I'll entertain a
Motion to approve.
motion by Alderman Scannell, second by Alderman Dwayne to approve. Discussion. Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
That much.
Good luck.
Ripping out carpeting tomorrow.
You guys are welcome to come help.
I've run double my basement. I'm working on that.
We can't celebrate, we can give it away.
Good luck.
Thanks so much.
Number 6, request by staff to review with possible action the prior tax cap ordinance to determine if it shall become readopted. This is, we made numerous changes a few months back and sent it to staff to rewrite, and this is the version that came back. I don't know if there's any comments from you, attorney, or?
Well, I can just inform you guys that I talked to Patrick yesterday. It's my understanding there were some changes initially made, then it was sent back, then more changes were requested. So this was his version that should reflect the changes that were requested, so.
And the only thing I have to add to this is the last section, sub 6, in regards to, it's titled license suspension and revocation. It looks like there was a surety requirement in there that we changed to a fine. I would just say that I don't think we can do that fine procedure, fine a person and give the fine to the individual who the complaint was on. I would either leave it as the surety or just take that requirement completely out. So it's a minor detail, but that surety requirement is similar to liquor licensing. I think that's where that came from. But obviously it doesn't have to be in the minutes.
So you're saying the line should go through? the
Right,
line should-
I'm saying either leave the former surety requirement in, or just take out $500, whether it's a fine or surety altogether. I don't think you can fine someone for that, and then give that money to the person with the complaint. So
Any recommendation?
Oh, would.
I would
know
leave the
fine would
surety
go-
in there, and basically, the purpose of it is to detract from false complaints,
Mhm.
so people don't bring false complaints. And it's similar, that's the way it is in liquor licensing.
Okay.
And again, that's only if the common council requires it. So, you know, if, what happens is if someone complains and you think it's kind of fishy, they can require that before they hear it, just to kind of make sure, to give the person, like, you better be serious about this if you're gonna bring this. It's not required in every case. We've never determined it for a liquor license case, so either way is fine with me.
If you like, gentlemen, I know there's at least one person here who may want to.
We'd
Going
like
to
to,
say-
actually, we're looking forward to the hearing.
Motion. Well, should we go through it all and then? Otherwise, we're gonna open the floor for this.
I think everything we changed is set.
That's in there.
We're all set? All right.
That's it.
Well,
Whatever you- Okay, motion by Alderman Dwayne, second by Alderman Stoyard. Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Anyone here for the taxi cab public vehicle license?
Anybody? Anybody at all?
Anyone? Now or hold your peace.
Kurt Whipperford, home address 2084 Spring Creek Circle in Green Bay.
Well, Mr. Whitworth, what do you,
Well, it's almost done, which is kind of cool. It's been a year
Yeah.
in doing this. There's just three things that I would like to bring up. The vehicle inspection, you delineate a fee for how much it costs for an inspection, but you don't put the fee in there for the licensing. And I don't think there's any reason to exclude that fee for licensing because you're probably not going to change.
Where is that, what page?
The fee for the police is the second page, vehicle inspection 3E. And yes, in 3A, just says, shall apply to the city clerk on approved form and pay the clerk the proper license fee for each. Is there any reason to exclude?
And if I could, I think that's cross-referenced in a different part of the chapter 6. What we could do is just include and pay the proper fee according to 6 point, whatever.
Right,
ordinance it is.
as long as the arrow is pointing in the right direction, that's cool, but just to leave it blank like that. And to check, then the other one, wasn't that changed as well in an earlier version of all of this? When the new ordinance came in, didn't they change that cross-reference as well?
I'm not sure, but this is an easy solution. We can just
Okay, yeah, and I'm okay with that one. The second one being the insurance.
3F?
Yes, 3F. It doesn't delineate who is going to be responsible for recording and maintaining the records on that. It used to be risk management, but that was struck out. Is the city clerk going to do it? Are the police going to do it? Is risk management going to do it?
we'll have to discuss that, yeah.
We can, I would assume to be risk management. We can look into that and put the proper department in there. So that clarifies that. That's not an issue.
And the third thing, I didn't hear all of what you commented on the last thing, but if you leave it as written, it makes no sense in the way that just replacing fine from the surety part, because, you know, it says you can make a complaint, you can be fined. It makes absolutely no sense. And I don't know if there's a way to do this, but since you said the intent of this is to keep people from making frivolous complaints, why not put that in there?
We certainly could add a little.
Because this is just, it's out of left field, because there's, you have now told me that it's for liquor licenses, has the same thing in it. But
Yeah.
does a hairdresser license have it? Does a barber, do other licenses have that in there automatically, that they have a surety required and that they get rid of the, I'm losing my term here, the stat, chapter 68 stat. And then they get rid of that for all of those as well?
I'm not
It's a due-
sure.
it's a due
Well,
process.
The examples that you gave, we don't license
Okay.
businesses, but
Pick
I
something
understand
that
what
you
you're getting
license.
at for different type of.
Right, why
And
say?
that's why I said I'm fine with removing that $500 requirement. I don't think all of our licenses have that requirement. Certain ones do and certain ones don't. So I'll leave that up to the committee. I'm fine either way, but I agree with the speaker that something has to be done to remedy that section.
You said there's fines for some of these committees, so, or, can you explain as far as what other ones? I mean, you said $500, I mean, we have other fines for other things too.
Well, that's for a violation, not of a licensing complaint, but just of a municipal code, of a state law that we adopt. So this is a little bit different. We shouldn't, I'm saying we can't have the fine requirement. It can be a surety, and we can either keep that in here or take it out. But we should definitely strike the fine. We should either go back to the surety or just get rid of that altogether. And I think what the speaker's saying is that if you're gonna go back to the surety, then put some language in there that says what the purpose of the surety is.
Fair enough.
Exactly.
Those three items.
Thank you for getting it.
Anything else, Mr. Whipperford?
No, those
Appreciate
are-
all your help all the way along.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Oh, I have a question for you. Alderman Scannell.
Yes.
Do you think frivolous complaints is a concern?
Well, that was the next thing, if I was gonna ask, was to say, what is your history with this? I've only been involved for a year on here. I don't know that there have been any frivolous complaints. And I would venture to guess that there haven't been any all the way back.
We've never had one. We've never had one that the council's determined in liquor licensing. It's more there for a deterrent effect. I'll really leave that up to the committee. It'd be cleaner probably if we just got rid of that requirement, and then if we were having issues, we could always amend the ordinance to include that language in there, but I'm fine either way.
Thank you.
Fair enough. All right, sir.
Good, thank you.
Thanks, Kurt.
Anyone else? Without objection, we'll return up here. And what are your wishes?
Well, I think I'd be fine with just getting rid of that. I mean, as a deterrent, how many people have really read through the ordinance before, to be deterred by that? I don't think that's really profitable or
Do we need to put the language in right now, though? I guess
if we keep it, yes. If we just strike it out, and
You can just give us that direction, and then we'll strike that when it goes on to council, and the ordinance that'll be included in the council packet.
I'd entertain a motion to just strike any reference to
Yep.
surety or fine.
Second.
my motion, yes.
Motion by Alderman Scannell, second by Alderman Dwayne. That sound fair?
Yep.
Okay. Discussion on that? Those in favor?
Aye.
Strike.
Opposed? Motion carried. All right, there were two other items that came up as well. I think one was in the application referencing the applicable statute. Was that in 3A?
3A, correct.
Yeah.
Do you think it appropriate we could reference the appropriate
Yeah,
statute?
motion to make a reference to the appropriate statute, yes, appropriate statute.
Motion by Alderman Scannell
Second.
for 3A, second by Alderman Stoyer to reference the applicable
Municipal.
statute.
Municipal.
Okay, yeah,
Discussion on that, those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Last item, at least that was brought up.
Those
If you have
3A.
more.
Was there the vehicle inspection? Was that something?
Oh, that was the insurance, 3.
The insurance,
It's just to include the proper department that the
Oh.
insurance should be filed with.
right. So I would make a motion that we add the appropriate department.
Second.
Motion by Alderman Scannell, second by Alderman Stoyer for 3F, insurance, to add the appropriate language for which department will handle the insurance contract. Discussion, those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Any other changes you'd like here? All right, I think we're ready to send this on to, could you
I
make
just
those
make a
changes?
motion to approve as amended.
Motion approved as amended.
Second?
Motion by Alderman Dwayne, second by Alderman Scannell to approve as amended. Discussion, those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, motion carried. Will this have first reading then next week or 2 weeks?
Yes, it will.
All right, perfect. So first reading will be in 2 weeks at council.
Thank you.
Thank you
Mr.
very much for all
Whitford,
your help.
thanks for the patience.
It made a big difference.
Call it the workforce plan.
Yeah.
Number 7, request by Alderman Weir to draft a resolution in opposition to the State of Wisconsin Assembly Bill 290, which would override local sex offender ordinances and establish much less restrictive requirements for residency. Going back to my first couple of years on the council here, 2002, we always had issues with sex offenders being placed in Green Bay in overwhelming numbers, 70%, 75%, sometimes 80, most of them here. And it was just there's no way to stop it, to prevent it. And we asked the state a couple times, I remember with resolutions, asking them to help us, and it fell on deaf ears. So we created our own sex offender ordinance as a way to try and mitigate it, and I think it's helped. Now we see an effort by some assemblymen to have a statewide one, which is fine, it'll make it easier for the Department of Justice. However, it really guts ours in that it reduces the 2,000 feet to 1,000 feet. It eliminates the park and playground exemption. It's just schools and daycares. And the third one is if the Department of Justice contracts with any type of residential facility, they can go around the ordinance as well. So they could just put some houses here and there and boom, poking all kinds of loopholes in it. So I asked our attorney to draft this resolution to send to our state legislators to say, hey, you know what, here's why we think you should either beef up what you're doing or just not do it at all.
You know who sponsored that, offhand?
I have it here as a copy.
Was it Playfish or?
Clayfish, Johnson, Bernier, Bowen, Edmund, Gannon, Heaton, Horlacker, a couple other names.
Can I-
Sure. Hold on, let's go here.
Thank you, Chair. When I first came in office, Tim and I were both on P&W, we worked on this extensively as well, quite a bit, so. I guess I'm trying to understand the intent of this ordinance, as far as, or what they were, with this assembly bill, I should say, they're trying to make this a little more lenient. I'll go on record to say that I was kind of fighting the ordinance that we had in place only because of the 2,000 foot. If you look at a map of the area of Green Bay, there might be one little area in an industrial park where people could go. So that was one of the questions I had, and I think one of the issues I had was the fact that there might be folks that will not register. They'll just disappear. They'll be, there's no rhyme or reason as where they are or where they go. And I know other cities have worked on different things. So this is a little bit of a surprise to me. I'd like to hear more discussion amongst us, and I'm willing to listen. But like I said, one of the reasons I was trying to amend our ordinance some time ago was because of the fact that I thought it was restrictive to the sense that, people were disappearing. People didn't know where they were. And I would rather know where someone is than not. So that's all for now.
Any other questions, comments, concerns?
Well, I think, from what I don't know the statute that's being passed completely, but I believe one part of it, which I think is good, is that the sex offender should be returned to their home. And if not, their home municipality, and if that doesn't work, then at least the county. So I think if the concern had been in the past that we were getting in a lot of sex offenders from other areas, then that would address that. That would be good. Should we, with our, we've listed in our resolution, the 2,000 foot area. Should we also list the other two concerns that are, should we make it specific as to what it is we're concerned about and just list those things?
Certainly.
I think that makes sense to me, that we're not necessarily opposed to this resolution in total, but we are concerned about these three specific items, or anything else that anybody else might have an issue with, and that I would like to see that in the resolution. That's what I'd like to.
Certainly. Good. Alderman Strack?
Thank you, Chair. I think one of the other issues that I had before, and I don't know if this falls completely within this or with this assembly bill, but was the fact that when they were talking about various degrees of crime, sex crimes, it seemed that somebody who, let's say an 18-year-old boy and a 17-year-old girl, if there was an event, he was listed as a sex offender, And then there was a story of maybe a 48-year-old man and a 10-year-old child, and how I had a hard time understanding why those were lumped together. You know, that I feel that there's different degrees of crime. But again, you know, the law stated something different. So I don't know how we could bring that in focus, and I don't know if that's even, if we could, but that was a concern that I had as well. If we could visit that as well, as far as the severity or the degree of it. And I need to study this bill a little bit more to fully understand, you know, what they're driving at. I think the whole fact of parks not being included, you said parks and schools?
No,
Playgrounds.
Playgrounds, parks and playgrounds. That's a big area. There's a lot of activity with that, so. But that's my point right now. That's it.
Thank you, Alderman. Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head as far as the state lumps them all together, which is why we created the residency board to sift through it for ourselves, because the state just threw them all together.
speaking of which, I would like to get the input of the residency board before we, you know,
Well,
this isn't time sensitive.
I don't think so. It's not up for any type of immediate
Yeah,
vote.
right, so I'd like to see our concerns, our specific concerns addressed within the resolution. I think we need a little more information to make sure we got those right. And one thing I'd like to get is the opinion of the residency board. Their thoughts, their opinions and what recommendations, if they have any. They should know more about this than anyone else.
I don't know, thank you, Chair. I don't know if it'd be appropriate to ask legal or police what their feeling is on this. Have you had a chance to look at this at all? And if, yes, Captain.
I have not had a chance to take a look at this yet, so.
Okay. And and like I said, there's a lot to it, and I guess I just need to know the intent. You know, is it just to make it easier for this population? Obviously. Because I know that there's other communities that have ordinances in place as well, and it gets very strict. And like I said, I'm just afraid of folks going underground and not knowing where they're at. That's my big concern.
Well, what we could do is make some changes, ask that the sex offender board take a look at this. And in the meantime, I'll find out if there's any vote coming up on this that we need to speed it up. If not, we have it back.
Want to make that motion?
Sure. Motion that we, I think we could just start with your three concerns. Though it sounds like the 2,000 to 1,000 foot might be something you'd be okay with. And I don't know if I would or not. I'd need to know more. But we could put it in there now. And then pass it by the Sex Offender Residency Board, SORB, and see what they got to say about it.
Motion?
That's a motion.
So the motion would be to add language mentioning the three concerns? Yeah, I sure remember that.
The motion I have, and I'll just read, is the motion to amend as directed and refer to Sex Offender Residency Board for review and potential recommendation.
Yep. I like it.
Let me ask, just
Is there a
before we
second
vote.
before discussion? Is there a second?
A
to that?
second for discussion.
Second, Alderman Steuer, and then Alderman Steuer.
Okay, I like Randy's bringing up of this, but I'm wondering if those other points that I brought up as well, is that something that maybe we should just wait for the sex offender board to go through initially, and then we could add, the other concerns that I might have later? Should we just let them look at that initially, and then we could reflect from what they say?
That way it might have a couple weeks to flesh out. I know where
Yes.
you're trying to get, you know.
Right, so I don't want to bring the cart before the horse on this. I would like, you know, I think I agree with Randy that maybe we should have them look at it, come back, and then I think maybe we'll have a little better time to discuss.
Fair enough.
So I'm good with that. So I'll just second it.
Any other discussion? I'm not sure when they meet next. Hopefully we can have this back at our next PNW. We meet
Yeah, I'm not
monthly,
sure when they meet either, but we'll get it on the next agenda.
right? We'll call Mr. Grania. Soon. All right. Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Gentlemen, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Moved by Alderman Dwayne, second by Alderman Scannell. Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
School's out forever.
You can turn it off.